So you're here in Brazil and you had just fought in Mexico City. Both cities have their little adverse conditions. There you had the altitude, here the humidity. How is it for you just kind of like hopping all over the world and just dealing with the added stress?
I'm enjoying it. I like traveling. I like meeting new people. The interesting part is people think that humidity's going to be a big problem. Actually, I don't think the humidity is too bad. I'm actually enjoying the heat. I prefer the heat normally. Mexico City, the elevation, that was something completely new. I never thought I would be so tired after the first round. So I'm going to take this one as a big blessing.
And you fought in Brazil before. You've been here before, and you did well for yourself.
Yeah, this will be my third fight actually in Brazil. I had one before I was in the UFC, and then I fought Carlos Diego Ferreira in the UFC, and now I'm here.
Both wins.
Yes.
So Brazil is kind of...
Brazil is good. I can't complain.
You have an interesting situation in the division because you have a great record, and you're one of those guys who are really up there, but you seem to be a little overlooked when people talk about the title picture. Do you feel that maybe people don't really bring your name up that much?
I think it's because I don't bring my name up that much. I used to be really interested in the title. It was one of those things where I was like, I need to get this, but it's not like that anymore. I've changed my mindset. I'm not looking for that crown. I have a different crown. And it's about... I've noticed the guys who do get this belt, it's not always what they expected, and I think I just want to enjoy this journey more than think about a piece of metal.
Got it. Yeah, so that was actually my next question, because you're fighting another contender who you guys are up there, so you're not really thinking about whether that win will get you anywhere.
No, I mean, as long as I can get another strong opponent, I'm extremely happy. My last... Actually, every fight I've had so far in the UFC has been really good. I've been getting the top 10, top 5, or undefeated guys in the UFC. So as long as I can continue to get these sorts of matchups, no complaints from me. If the belt is ever on the table, I'm not going to complain. But it's not something I'm going to be like, I got to get the belt. You got to give me the belt. No.
And since we're talking about the matchup, you're fighting Edson. Obviously, whenever people talk about him, the kicks, the striking, like it's a very obvious thing to point out in his game. But for you, do you see any other maybe hidden parts of his game that people sometimes overlook? How do you see the matchup for yourself?
You know, surprisingly, in a lot of his fights, he goes for takedowns. Yeah. So I think that's something people don't notice. He does look for takedowns, and... It just depends on how the situation is going for him. Sometimes he'll do it off a good situation. Sometimes he'll do it off a bad situation. But overall, I haven't seen too much from his jiu-jitsu, because he hasn't really shown too much. Even when he takes people down, he spends more time ground and pound. He uses good ground and pound.
Did you like the matchup, like stylistically?
I loved it. I'm a big, I guess I shouldn't say fan, but I have a lot of respect for Edsonom Barbozoi. It's hard to be a fan of guys in the same division as you, but I have a lot of respect for Edson. I think he's fought a lot of good guys, and he's done really well. So this is exactly what I want. And
not to get too political, but clearly the United States are going through interesting times, and there was recently a travel ban, and it didn't become an issue, but Mousasi was talking about how he was worried about it. You're a U.S. citizen, right? So you're not really concerned about getting back in there, but how did it affect you?
It didn't have too much effect on me personally, but I saw the people around me there. It was fear. I don't know if it affected anyone I know, to be honest with you, personally. But the fear it caused, I think that was something I didn't like seeing. When you do things and you cause fear in such a big crowd, I think you've already made a mistake, because that's the backlash from fear is always the worst thing.
Do you do you have any interest in maybe using your platform to address this, or is this something that, politics, do you get into it, or do you...
I try to stay away from politics, just because I don't know both sides of the story. We've had travel bans before. I don't know why we're doing this one and why we're being so extreme about it. So it's not one of those things I want to get involved with, because the public opinion can change in 6 months. My thing is, as far as politics go, I just want to see us stop bombing other countries. That's really the biggest thing, because if you want to talk about creating terrorism, most of it comes from us destroying other countries. So.
And lastly, to get back to the octagon, you mentioned that you're not really thinking about the belt and stuff, but that you want to face top competition. Is there anyone, not even for rankings reasons, but stylistically, or a fighter that would interest you in the future, a matchup?
For sure, I think pretty much everybody in the top 10. There's guys that are coming up that are undefeated in the lightweight division. A lot of guys like that. Tony Ferguson right now is on a tear. That's totally something that would interest me. I know that's kind of tricky because he's going to be fighting for the belt. So there's a ton of people. I